Hello everyone, my dear brothers and sisters. Let me tell you something that the wind already knows, that the trees have been whispering since time began. You already have the answers inside you. Oh yes, you do. See, we spend our lives reaching, searching, aching for something outside of us to tell us who we are. We look to the world for signs, for permission, for a roadmap to a destiny that was planted in our souls long before we had a name. But hear me now. Your spirit knows the way. It always has. You ever seen a river fight to flow? No, child. The river doesn't argue with the rocks. It moves around them. The birds don't beg the sky to hold them up. They spread their wings and trust the wind. And just like them, you were born with a knowing, a light, a whisper deep in your bones, telling you where to go. Some call it a feeling. Some call it instinct. I call it truth. There is a voice inside you, soft but strong, quiet but sure. It does not shout, it does not beg, it does not demand, it simply knows. It knows when something feels right, and it knows when something feels wrong. It knows when to stay and when to walk away. It knows when to leap, even when the world tells you to be still. But the trouble is, we don't always listen. We doubt, we question, we turn to others, hoping they will confirm what we already feel in our bones. And when they don't, we hesitate, we shrink, we silence the very part of us that was designed to lead the way. You see, the world will always have an opinion about what you should do, where you should go, who you should be. It will hand you maps drawn by hands that do not know the landscape of your soul. It will try to convince you that safety is better than truth, that comfort is better than growth, that logic is louder than instinct. But hear me when I say this. No one can know your journey better than the spirit that carries you. Your intuition is your compass. It is not a guessing game, not a wild hope, not a reckless leap into the unknown. It is the purest form of wisdom, the part of you untouched by fear, undistracted by noise. It has been with you since the very beginning, guiding you in ways you may not even realize. Think back to the times when something inside told you to turn left instead of right, to trust a stranger's kindness, to leave a situation that no longer served you. That was not luck. That was not coincidence. That was your soul speaking. But if you want to hear it clearly, you must learn to trust it without conditions. You cannot say, I will listen if it makes sense, or I will trust it if others agree. No, child, intuition does not work that way. It requires faith before proof. It demands belief before certainty. And that is where many of us struggle. We want guarantees, we want validation, we want to be sure, but life does not come with a script, and no one but you can write your story. So many people live half lives because they ignore the voice within. They take jobs they do not love, stay in places that make them feel small, surround themselves with people who do not honor their spirit, all because they are afraid to follow what they already know deep inside. But the truth is, ignoring your intuition does not silence it. It only makes the journey harder. The signs will keep coming. The uneasiness will not fade. The truth will press against your heart until you can no longer ignore it. Do not wait for the world to understand what your spirit already knows. Do not wait for permission to follow the path that was meant for you. Do not wait for certainty before you trust yourself, because the truth is, certainty is not the absence of fear, it is the presence of trust. And trust, my dear, is the beginning of everything. The world is loud. It hums and buzzes and roars with voices, opinions, and expectations. It fills your days with noise, some of it welcome, some of it unwanted, all of it demanding your attention. The moment you wake up, there are messages to check, conversations to join, and pressures pulling you in every direction. And in all that clamor, all that rushing, all that reaching for the next thing, your intuition speaks, but it does not yell. It does not fight for space in the chaos. It does not push past the noise. It waits, patient, steady, unshaken. It will not force itself upon you, but it will never leave you either. The question is not whether your intuition is speaking. The question is whether you are quiet enough to hear it. You see, we are conditioned to seek answers outside of ourselves. We scroll endlessly, looking for validation. We poll our friends, hoping someone will tell us what to do. We turn to books, articles, strangers on the internet, desperate for clarity. But clarity does not live out there. It is not something you can hunt down like a missing puzzle piece. It is something you return to, something that has been within you all along. But to reach it, you must create space for it. You must slow down, step away from the noise and listen, not just with your ears, but with your entire being, because intuition does not speak in loud declarations. It speaks in whispers, in feelings, in the soft tug of knowing. And if you are too busy, too distracted, too tangled in the outside world, you will miss it. That is why solitude matters. That is why stillness is not a luxury, but a necessity. The world will tell you that being still is unproductive, that silence is empty. But the truth is, silence is full. It is full of wisdom, full of clarity, full of the answers you have been searching for. Have you ever noticed that your clearest thoughts come when you are alone? That the best ideas appear in the quiet moments, in the shower, on a walk, in the hush of early morning before the world wakes up? That is no accident. That is intuition finally being heard, but we resist it, don't we? The moment silence arrives, we rush to fill it. We reach for our phones, turn on the TV, play music, anything to keep us from sitting with ourselves. Because sitting with ourselves means facing what is inside, and sometimes that feels uncomfortable. But hear me now, you cannot ignore yourself forever. If you do not make time to listen, your intuition will find other ways to get your attention. It will show up as restlessness, as unease, as that nagging feeling that something is off, even when everything looks fine on the surface. It will not let you settle. It will not let you pretend. It will keep knocking until you answer. So be still, be quiet, step away from the rush, the noise, the endless distractions. Find moments in your day to simply be, breathe, sit with yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that rise, the emotions that stir, the instincts that speak. Do not rush to analyze them. Do not dismiss them as nothing. Honor them, trust them, follow them. Because in the silence, you will hear the truth. In the quiet, you will find the clarity you have been seeking. And when you do, there will be no doubt left, only knowing. Doubt has a voice. It is sharp, persistent, and relentless. It sneaks into your thoughts, plants questions where there was once certainty, and makes you second-guess yourself when you already know the answer. It does not care about truth. It does not care about wisdom. It only cares about keeping you still, making you hesitate, stopping you from trusting what is already inside you. But intuition, it is different. It does not fight. It does not argue. It does not come with a long list of reasons to prove itself. It simply exists, steady and unwavering, like an old friend who has been with you since the beginning. And if you listen, if you learn to separate its voice from the noise of doubt, you will realize it has always been guiding you. The trouble is, doubt speaks louder. It raises its voice when you are on the edge of something new, something important. It tells you, what if you're wrong? What if you fail? What if you make a fool of yourself? And if you let it, doubt will hold you in place, make you question every step, make you believe that maybe you do not know what is best for you. But listen closely, doubt is not wise. Doubt is afraid. Doubt wants certainty before action, guarantees before belief. And life does not work that way. You cannot wait for proof before you trust yourself. You cannot wait for validation before you believe in what you feel, because intuition does not come with a contract, does not come with absolute guarantees. It comes with faith. And that is what makes it powerful. Think about the moments in your life when you just knew. When you walked into a room and felt something was off before anyone said a word, when you met someone and instantly felt a connection or a warning, when you were faced with a choice and deep down, without a single logical explanation, you already knew the right answer. That was not random. That was not an accident. That was your intuition speaking. And yet, how many times have you ignored it? How many times have you brushed it aside because it did not come with logic, because others did not agree, because doubt was louder? And how many times did you later realize, I should have listened? Intuition is not here to make sense to everyone else. It is not here to ask permission. It is here to guide you, and it will if you allow it. But the first step is trust. The first step is learning to recognize when doubt is leading you astray, when fear is masquerading as reason. The first step is understanding that just because something is uncertain does not mean it is wrong. That just because others do not see what you see does not mean your vision is unclear. You must learn to recognize the difference between a warning and fear. Fear will hold you back from what is good for you. It will tell you to stay where it is safe, even if where you are does not make you happy. Intuition, on the other hand, will nudge you forward, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it is unknown, because it knows what is meant for you. And that is the key, isn't it? Learning to listen when it does not make sense. Learning to trust yourself when doubt tries to shake you. Learning to walk forward even when you cannot yet see the full path ahead. Because at the end of the day, doubt may be loud, but it is not true. Intuition may be quiet, but it is never wrong. And when you learn to tell the difference, you will never hesitate again. There are moments in life when logic hesitates, when the facts do not align, when reason pauses as if unsure of the next step. And yet, in those very moments, intuition moves. It does not stop to gather evidence. It does not wait for confirmation. It does not seek approval. It simply knows. That knowing, that deep-rooted certainty is not something the world teaches you to trust. The world says, prove it. The world says, make sense of it. The world says, if you cannot explain it, then it must not be real. But tell me, how do you explain the way a mother knows her child is in danger before the phone rings? How do you explain the way you feel an energy shift in a room before a single word is spoken? How do you explain that moment when you meet someone for the first time and something inside you whispers, pay attention? There is no formula for this. There is no science that can fully capture the depth of the human spirit and its connection to something greater. Yet we feel it, we know it, we live by it, even when we do not name it. But doubt loves to challenge what it cannot measure. It loves to make you second guess the voice inside you. So when logic does not immediately affirm what you feel, you hesitate. You ask, what if I'm wrong? What if I am being irrational? What if I am acting on impulse instead of wisdom? And so you wait, you gather more information, you ask more opinions, you seek validation outside yourself. And in that waiting, in that hesitation, the moment passes. The door that was open begins to close. The opportunity that was calling for you fades into the distance. And all that remains is the heavy feeling of regret, the quiet realization that you knew all along, you just did not act. But life does not wait, and neither does intuition. It moves, it guides, it nudges, and if you do not follow, it will not argue with you. It will simply allow you to learn the lesson in a harder way, because whether you listen or not, truth does not change. The path meant for you will always be there, but if you spend too much time questioning your steps, you will miss the rhythm, the flow, the grace of walking in alignment with what is meant for you. Think of all the times you trusted your intuition and were right. Maybe you took a chance on something that made no sense on paper, but it led you exactly where you needed to be. Maybe you left a situation before things turned bad, even though everyone else said to stay. Maybe you listened to a whisper inside you that told you to take a different route home, and later you found out that small decision saved you from harm. That is the power of intuition. It moves even when logic hesitates. It acts even when the mind is unsure. It steps forward before the evidence arrives because it already knows what the evidence has not yet revealed. And you, yes, you have that power inside you. You have that guidance, that inner wisdom, that unseen force that is always working for you. You do not need to see the full picture to take the first step. You do not need every answer before you say yes to what feels right. You do not need permission to follow the knowing that has lived in you since the beginning. So when the mind is uncertain, listen to what moves within you. When logic hesitates, trust that intuition never does. When the world tells you to wait, to analyze, to be sure, remember that certainty does not always come before the leap. Sometimes it comes after, and sometimes it comes only to those who are willing to move first. From the moment you took your first breath, you carried something precious inside you, a deep, unshaken knowing. Before the world told you who to be, before rules and expectations settled over you like heavy clouds, you knew. You knew when something felt right. You knew when something felt wrong. You knew who you were, even when you did not have the words to explain it. But then life happened. The world started shaping you, molding you, pressing you into spaces that were too small for the spirit you carried. People told you what was possible, what was practical, what was safe. They told you to follow the path that made sense, not the one that made your soul come alive. They told you to seek approval, to look outside yourself for answers, to listen to voices that did not know the rhythm of your heart. And so, little by little, you stopped trusting yourself. You questioned your instincts. You ignored the pull inside you. You asked for permission to believe in what you already knew. But tell me, child, when did you start thinking that someone else knew the way better than you? When did you start waiting for the world to validate what was placed inside you from the very beginning? There is no one, no teacher, no mentor, no expert who can know your path the way you do. No one else has lived inside your body, felt the way your spirit stirs, understood the silent language of your intuition. No one else has the map that was written for you and you alone. So why do you hesitate? Why do you look to others to confirm what your soul is whispering so clearly? Why do you seek permission to trust yourself? Maybe it is fear, maybe it is doubt, maybe the world has convinced you that wisdom is found in books, in titles, in numbers, in facts. And yes, knowledge is powerful, yes, learning is valuable, but do not confuse information with truth. Truth is something deeper. Truth is what rises in you before logic can catch up. Truth is what calls you forward even when the world tells you to stay put. And here is the thing about truth. It does not require explanation. It does not need to be justified, proven, or accepted by anyone else to be real. It simply is. And when you feel it, when you know it, your only job is to honor it. Think of all the times you ignored your own knowing. Think of all the moments you felt something in your bones but pushed it away because it did not make sense, because someone else told you differently, because you were afraid to trust yourself. And now, think of how those situations turned out. Think of how many times you have said, I knew it, I should have listened to myself. Now tell me, what would happen if you stopped second guessing? What if instead of waiting for approval, you simply followed what you already knew? What if instead of explaining yourself, you move with quiet confidence, knowing that the only validation you need is the one that comes from within? It will not always be easy. The world does not always honor those who trust themselves. People will ask you to explain your choices, to provide proof before you take a step. But you do not owe the world an explanation for following your truth. You do not need permission to walk your own path. So listen deeply, trust fully, move boldly, because the answers you are looking for are not out there, they are already inside you. and they have been waiting for you to believe in them. The world is full of noise. Opinions fly fast, logic demands proof, and reason shouts its arguments. People will tell you what is right, what is wrong, what is possible, and what is foolish. But beneath it all, there is something quieter, something deeper, something that does not raise its voice to be heard. It is your intuition. It speaks in whispers, in nudges, in feelings that have no words, but carry the weight of truth. Too often we ignore it, not because we do not hear it, but because we do not trust it. The mind is loud. It demands explanations, calculations, and evidence before it moves. The heart, though, it knows without proof. It senses before facts arrive. It whispers when everything else is screaming. And yet we hesitate, we doubt. We let the noise of the world drown out the wisdom that was placed inside us from the very beginning. Think about all the times your heart spoke first, before you had all the details, before anyone else confirmed what you felt, before logic had the chance to catch up. Maybe it was a moment when you met someone and something inside you said, yes, this person is important. Or maybe it was the opposite, a feeling that warned you to step away, to be careful, to listen to that quiet unease you could not explain. Maybe it was a dream, an idea, a pull towards something that made no sense on paper, but felt undeniably right in your soul. And what did you do? Did you listen or did you wait? Did you ask the world for permission to believe in what you already knew? Did you tell yourself, it's just a feeling, I need more proof, I need to be sure? But let me tell you something, the heart does not lie. It does not make guesses, it does not play games. When it speaks with truth, even when the mind does not understand it yet. And if you learn to lean in and listen, if you learn to trust that quiet whisper, it will never lead you astray. But listening is not always easy. The world will challenge you. It will tell you to be practical, to be realistic, to ignore what cannot be measured. People will look at you with doubt when you follow something they cannot see. They will ask for reasons, for guarantees, for logic that fits inside a neat little box. And sometimes you will not have those answers, not yet. Because intuition does not always come with full explanations. It does not always reveal the whole picture at once. Sometimes it asks you to take the first step before you see the entire. But what is more terrifying? Ignoring it? Ignoring that feeling that keeps pressing against your heart? Ignoring that whisper that returns again and again, no matter how much you try to push it aside? Because here's the truth. Intuition does not give up on you. It does not disappear. It does not fade just because you refuse to listen. It stays waiting, urging, reminding you of what you already know deep down. And if you keep ignoring it, life will teach you in other ways. It will place obstacles in your path until you finally recognize what you should have trusted from the beginning. It will make you restless, uneasy, dissatisfied with where you are, because where you are is not where you are meant to be. So lean in, listen. When your heart whispers, when it stirs, when it tugs at you in ways you cannot explain, trust it. It knows. It has always known. And the moment you stop asking the world for permission, the moment you stop demanding that every feeling come with proof, the moment you decide to follow what is already inside you, that is the moment you step into the life that was meant for you all along. There comes a time when you must stand in what you know, not in what you hope, not in what you fear, not in what others expect of you, but in what you know. And that knowing, that deep, unshakable certainty, does not come from books, does not come from logic, does not come from the voices of the world. It comes from within. Intuition does not whisper for no reason. It does not nudge you without purpose. It does not rise in you just to be ignored. It comes because it sees what you cannot yet see. It knows what your mind is still trying to grasp. It moves before the world catches up. And your only task, your only responsibility is to trust it enough to act. But action requires courage. It is one thing to hear the voice inside you. It is another to follow it when doubt creeps in, when fear tells you to wait, when people around you ask for explanations you cannot yet give. It takes courage to step forward when the path is not fully clear. It takes courage to believe in something that does not come with guarantees. It takes courage to stand in what you know when the rest of the world is still unsure. And yet that is exactly what you must do. You see, intuition does not work in hesitation. It does not thrive in second guessing. It is like a river. It flows. And when you fight against it, when you resist its movement, you only make life harder for yourself. You create delays. You allow doubt to build walls around what was meant to come easily to you. You wait for proof, for clarity, for some external sign, when all along the sign was already there, the way you felt, the way you knew, the way something inside you lit up in recognition of the truth. Do not wait for the world to tell you what you already know. Do not wait for others to see what has been placed in your heart. Not everyone will understand your calling. Not everyone will believe in your vision. Not everyone will trust what you trust, and that is fine, because it was never meant for them. It was meant for you. So act. Move with the certainty that is already inside you. Stop questioning what you feel simply because it does not yet make sense on paper. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold the fullness of who you are. Stop asking for permission to trust what has been guiding you since the very beginning. The world does not reward hesitation. It rewards those who trust themselves enough to take the first step. It rewards those who listen to what cannot yet be explained but is still undeniably true. It rewards those who understand that faith in oneself is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is walking in the direction of what was always meant for you, even when the road is not yet clear to others. And yes, there will be moments of doubt. There will be days when fear whispers louder than faith. There will be times when you wonder if you were wrong, if you misunderstood, if you should have waited longer. But do not let those moments shake you. Do not let the noise of the world drown out the quiet truth that has always lived inside you. Because when you listen, when you act, when you move without needing all the answers first, something extraordinary happens. Life meets you where you are. The right doors open, the right people appear, the right opportunities unfold, not because you forced them, but because you trusted enough to step toward them. And that is the power of intuition. It does not just lead you, it aligns you. It places you exactly where you need to be. It clears the path the moment you decide to walk it. So stand in what you know, trust in what you feel, and move boldly, bravely, without apology. The life you are meant to live is waiting on the other side of that first step. And so here you stand, at the edge of knowing, at the brink of trust, at the doorway of everything meant for you. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more seeking permission to believe in what has already been placed inside you. Your intuition has been calling you, guiding you, whispering to you all along. It is time to listen. It is time to act. The world will not always understand your path, but that is not your burden to carry. The truth that lives in you does not need validation. It does not need explanation. It only needs you to trust it enough to follow where it leads. Because when you do, life begins to flow. Doors open, the right people find you, the right opportunities align, not because you forced them, but because you trusted yourself enough to move toward them. So walk boldly, trust deeply, move forward with courage, and remember, your intuition will never fail you, but you must have the strength to follow it. Good luck on your journey. May you always listen to the wisdom within you, and may it always lead you exactly where you are meant to be. Thank you.